Hello and welcome to another video from Crafty Carol's Cards. I'm making another fun pop-up card today, fun fold pop-up card. This is a gatefold pop-up card. So I'm going to go through what I need, but I want to talk about the products I'm using with this. I've used the Textured Notes rectangular dies, and I've used the Thankful Garden stamp set, which has a die. It comes as a bundle, and there are dies to cut out the stamps and some extra leaf dies as well, plus some extra various bits that will match some of the stamps, but also other bits of them. That won't make sense. I've cut out some already. And I am also using the matching DSP that comes with this suite, because this is part of the suite, the Thankful Garden, and this is the Lovely Garden DSP, and there are some beautiful sets of DSP in here. I'm using a couple of them today, but you can see them all online if you want to look. So you need quite a lot of bits for this, so I've done a lot of preparation because there's quite lots of sort of colouring and everything with this stuff, and I didn't want to waste time doing that. So, for the base card, you will need a normal card blank, and that is a little bit scruffy, I have to say. I think I need yet another new blade. Anyway, so this is 21 by 14.8. If you're working with US cardstock, that's 8.5 by 5.5 inches. Then you want a piece of DSP for the front. And I've used this particular, I can't decide which way up, I think it's probably that way up. This one is 10 centimetres by 14.3, or if you're working in inches, it is 4 inches by 5.25 inches if you're working with the US cardstock. Then you need various other bits of card. I've used garden green and crushed curry because that matches the DSP for mine, and I've cut out the larger rectangle, and that will go on the front of the card, on front of the gatefold, and I've cut that out. Now these are made for US cardstock, so it'll look great on US cardstock. For ours, it means there's a very narrow border each side and a bigger one top and bottom, but I think we can live with that, so that's okay. Then we want I've already stamped and coloured this, so we want the next size down, cut out of basic white. And then for the centre, we also want, this is the 2 sizes down from that one, which was going to go in the centre of the gatefold pop-up. I've already prepared some of my other bits. I've cut, stamped and coloured. I've stamped on that one and coloured it, stamped on this and coloured it, and also cut out a couple of separate flowers. And I also die cut some leaves. I'm not sure I'm going to use those or not. We'll see in a bit. I've also prepared the Thankful for You Friend, one of the sentiments from the set, and I've just fussy cut it around the actual words. So that is there. Then you also need some pieces of DSP, and for these you need these. The first piece here, we want 2 of these, 2 of the slightly bigger pieces, and these are 4.8 by 14.3, and there's 2 of those. 2 slightly smaller pieces, which are 3.5 by 14.3, and 1 really tiny piece, which is 1.5 by 14.3. So those are all the bits you need. Just wanted to mention the colouring. I have actually coloured these. There are no blends. The 2 colours I'm using, garden green and crushed curry, there are no blends for these. So I have used the Stamping Right markers to colour the leaves and the centre of the flowers. I actually used Lemon Lolly, I think that was, to colour the sort of petals on the flowers and keep them a bit lighter. But I've matched the crushed curry, obviously, to match the system. So Stamping Right markers you can get in those colours, you can't get blends. Right, let's show you how to put this card together, because that's what I really wanted to focus on in this video. So you will need your, oops, can I fit it on here? Yes, I can. So you will need your paper trimmer, because obviously to cut the bits, but also for these scoring. So the scoring for this, a little bit awkward because we are going to actually be using between these little markers. So you've got the centimetre markers and we've got these little tiny markers in between. and we are going to use in between some of those, if that makes sense. So if I go through the scoring, then you'll see how it works out. So we're going to start off at 5.25. So that is bang in the middle between the second and the third tiny mark. So I'm going to put the edge right in the middle of there. And that's my first score line. Move my cutting blade well out of the way, and I'm going to just score it. The second one is 9.25. So that's 5.25, 9.25, 11.25, and 15.75. Now this one is more difficult because it obviously goes right into the score line of here. The 16 is actually on the hinge. So the easy way to do that is when you've done the first three, turn it round and do 5.25 again. And that is a lot easier than trying to work in this very difficult bit here. It actually works out, if I show you exactly, it's sort of in the dark bit here. You can see it, and it works out, and you can see that I've got my score line in the right place. But for ease, turn it round and do 5.25 again, just because it makes it easier. Okay. So for this one, it's a gatefold. So we're going to fold the outside pieces in. And I have managed to lose my bone folder. Where have I put that? Find it. Right, so we want to make sure that these pieces line up exactly top and bottom. I'm going to have to trim some of these threads off the bottom where it hasn't cut very well. Let me just do that. There we go. Right, so we're going to fold both of these sides inwards. So my two sides folded inwards. And then this centre bit is coming up, so we're going to fold the opposite way. So we've got a valley, then a mountain, if you're looking at it the way I'm looking at it here. And then the other side of this one, we also want a mountain. So it's as if this bit sticks up in the middle like that. Okay, so let's just do that one as well. Give them all a really good burnish so that they fold in. So that is how the card will look when it's open, but when it's folded, it's a normal gatefold. See? Clever, hey? Dead easy. So, this piece, yeah, for the front, we need to trim this. So I just wanted to show you how I'm doing that, because we need to trim it. This is the normal layer one, but obviously we don't want it necessarily coming right across the centre here. If you want it to look like this, so you've got a border all the way round, then cut the two panels for the front the same size as your two inner ones. I actually want this to look as though it's a full card, just because I just feel like that. So I'm actually going to have it so that it does fit all the way across. So I'm just going to cut it in the middle here, okay, which is at 5 centimetres. But this is your choice. It just depends how you want it to look. So I'm just going to have it in the middle, 5 centimetres, so cut those both at 5, so that when I put these on, these are actually going to come right to the centre of the gatefold. It'll make sense when I show you. So it depends on the look you want. I just think that sometimes when you've got a sort of edge in the gatefold, it just looks odd to me. So I'm going to have mine right to the edge here. So I've got my gap to this side and top and bottom, but I have got it exactly to the fold in the centre. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. It's got some nice black and white patterns on the back, this DSP. It is rather nice. Now, make sure I'm matching my pattern. That's important. And get it level. So it's the same. There we go. Oops. So my patterns are now meeting in the middle, which is what I wanted. Okay, we're now going to stick the pieces on the inside. So the two wider panels go on the outside, the two slightly smaller ones go next, and then our other piece goes in the middle there. So that's how they go on. So I'll just pop these on. Okay, so there's all my bits stuck in. Really took a while, didn't it? Okay, let us get on with the decoration. So these pieces are going to go on the front. I'm going to build it up first and then stick it to the card base. So this, the first piece I'm going to put on flat. Now, I've done sort of extra decoration. You could, if you wanted, just stamp an image on the front of this, and that would be fine. You don't need to do any further stamping on it. I wanted to build up some layers on the front of my card. So there. I don't know why this big one, I could have actually partially die cut that and made it slightly smaller, and that might actually have looked better. Anyway, I have already got that one and that one I need, and I've got to decide whether to use the leaves or not. I just wanted to build it up and offset it so it looks like there's more flowers than there are, if that makes some sense. So I'm going to put some dimensionals just on the top end of this and some glue down the bottom because I want that to be flat. So my dimensionals will go really from here upwards. And then we're going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom. I'll just take the tops off these first. And then a little bit of glue just down here. I'm going to offset that and just have it sort of lying across these. This is just, as I said, you can do what you want with these images, but then this is going to be flat because I'm going to stick this over the top there. And then just to add a little more dimension, I've stamped this flower again. It has a separate die, cut that out, just going to do it a little bit of shape and put some dimensionals in the center there, or just one because it'll do. So it depends how much depth you want on the card. Obviously this does add to the depth. That now is quite a deep front. So if you're thinking about postage, then yes, by all means be a bit more careful. I did cut out these leaves. I'm not sure if I really want to use them or not. Possibly. Might have them just sitting like that actually. Okay, and for that I'm just going to put a little, so go all over the desk, but I'm going to just put a little bit of glue, if I can get it out. Come on, just dot me, thank you. Just on the stem bits, because I want the leaves to sort of flap in the wind. And we will have that just over the middle there. So that's giving me plenty of dimension on the front. And then my sentiment is going to go on with dimensionals across the stems. Because I know it's part of the stamp, the stem, but it just, I don't know, they look a bit messy, don't you think? So we're just going to have this. And as I said, I've just stamped this and then fussy cut it out. So there is my completed front. Now, because it's a gatefold, if you remember about gatefolds, you only stick it to one half. You want to just stick it to one half. So I'd only want glue down I'm going to use the left-hand half just because most people open things towards the left, so it doesn't matter which side, but I would always stick the left-hand half. So I'm just going to put some glue all over that. Just on that half, and then we can center it. As I said, it's got a narrower border at the side and a bigger border top and bottom. That's okay. So we're just sticking it just to that side. So you see I haven't got any glue over the middle, which is really important because we don't want that to stick. And that is what the card would look like. And then when you open it up, it has this lovely pop-up. And obviously that's nice on its own, but we want to make it even better. And that's why I've got this separate piece here, because we're going to have this on there. And I'm going to stick a little flower on the bottom because I think it looks nice just to bring the card together. And this was the bigger flower. When I stamped the little flower for the front, it leaves a partial big flower. So I've just coloured and cut out the partial big flower. And then I am going to just stamp a little greeting inside here with love. And there will still be room to write, which is the main thing. So I'm using garden green. So we'll have that just up there, just slightly, not quite middle, just offset slightly to balance the flower. Just clean that stamp. And that still leaves me a little bit of space to write. If you wanted more space to write, then one of these panels you can actually make just of, probably this one, you could just make of basic white, and then you can write on that if you want. I just wanted to write it on the centre. And because the card will lie flat, you can still write on it even when it's fixed down. Now, when we're putting this on, we obviously only want to stick it to this centre panel here. So I'm going to use some slightly wider, some slightly wider tear and tape, which I'm going to use. And I'm going to measure how big I want it on here, like that. And then I'm going to use the tape to position it in the middle here. So I want it in the middle. So we'll have it just like that. So I can stick the tape on there, having measured that it's the right size for this. Take the top off that. And then I can stick this down, making sure that it's as central as I want it. There we go. And there we have it. There is my pop-up gatefold card. So when we open it up, it sits out like that, and it will still stand. You'll see plenty of the card when you stand it up. But I just think it's rather a nice little card. Just adds a little bit of interest to a gatefold. So I hope you really enjoyed that. Obviously, don't forget to stamp your envelope as well to match. I shall probably use some of the paper actually to decorate my envelope. Possibly use this stamp as well, we'll see. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a go at this, because it's a good fun, an easy fun fold once you've got your measurements. So thank you for joining me again today. All of the instructions and measurements are on my website at craftycarolscards.co.uk. Please sign up for my emails so you know when I do my free live classes, and you can come and join me there. And I would love to see you again soon. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.